in some cultures, men have more rights than women. This is a country where we have equal rights, but that's not the case in other countries. So my question is, if a man's rights aren't equal, is cheating considered cheating for him?
I mean, for us, we get the same punishment in cheating. So no man has more rights when it comes to the aspect than a woman. So for us, it's not like that at all. So I wouldn't be able to answer that question.
I wanted to answer from like a now it's a culture perspective. Now it's not religion anymore. I come from a South Asian background, so that's like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and over there, even though things are getting better, but it is kind of that traditional gender roles kind of thing where it not here, but in those countries where yeah, the man is kind of has a higher regard, and they're the breadwinners and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, if there is a little bit of unfairness if they were to cheat, generally they don't, because there's a lot of like joint families, they live with their parents, there's a lot of just family involved, but things are changing, modernizing, and so yes, if there is cheating involved, then yes, sometimes they do get a pass, unfortunately, in the culture, because they're just looked upon so highly, and yeah, unfortunately. So
But isn't that everywhere, Kelly? I mean, what you're saying is everywhere where men are they're not, how can I say, it's expected for them to cheat almost. Like for women, it's like, oh my gosh, but for a woman, for a man, it's expected. So, Kelly, is that really your point? I mean, because that's all around the world, isn't it?
No, I mean, in some countries, women are considered like property. So if you can own a woman, are you really
Oh,
cheating on her? You know what I mean? Like, I don't have
oh,
someone from every culture or country or race or religion to ask this question to, but I know that this does exist.
well,
So
when it comes to property, you're speaking to Middle Eastern, so I think we're probably the most extreme in that. I would say Middle Eastern and African, where like where women are kind of property, right? And yeah, I guess you're right. Like in that aspect, the men, because they provide the providence, is what is the word? Providence? Provision. They provide the provision for the women and the family. You don't really have, you can't say anything really. You just have to kind of deal with it. Yeah. Is that what you mean, Kelly?
that's what I'm like. Yeah, it's not considered cheating, or would it be? Trigger Mike, I know you're Nigerian,
It's adultery. Yeah. It's still
and
adultery.
Can you restate the scenario, the
I
question?
mean, I know in some countries, I know some African countries, aren't women considered property?
Oh yeah.
So if a man cheats, is that really considered cheating?
No, no. And if we're talking culturally, we got to make a distinction every time we talk about cheating. You have to make a distinction between men and women differently. So, um, yeah, when it comes to cheating, like on your wife, it's usually the provision. Like if you, it doesn't happen the same way where for some reason it's weird in the West how women always want to tell everybody their business when they got cheated on. It's weird, right? Because it's bringing shame, especially if you're married, upon your whole family in a sense. So it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yes, something happened. It can actually be shameful. Keep it in the house. Now, if you do tell someone, and the people that do know, you can go talk to his mother. You can talk to his father. That will get his attention really quick. Because if he's taking his provision outside of the home, all of a sudden, his contribution inside of your house is lacking, the mortgage is late, children aren't properly fed, they're gonna whip his ass in my culture. Like they're gonna get with him. That is what's considered, I would say, the equivalent of cheating, to where it's gonna raise eyebrows and reflect negatively upon the man. Men seeking sex from other women is standard. Like it's standard. The part where it causes alarm is when your provision is taken out of that house to take care of this Jezebel or this woman. And and they do practice Islam in Nigeria as well. If you are going to get another woman, you actually have to and most times marry her. If you're gonna deflower her like that, you have to marry her and provide her housing. That's too much. That's some very costly vagina. I'll pass.
For the women who like are in a culture where it's okay to have multiple wives or to cheat or whatever you want to call it, do they get jealous, or do they just like of men, their man being with another woman, or do they just understand that that's a part of the role? Like, is there jealousy? Like, because you do it here, even like in poly relationships, like I hear about, women being jealous and getting upset, and who likes who more, and like, is that a thing over there, or do you just understand?
I think that's like the Mormonism. Like when you see the people. So remember, when it's done in religious ways, you're supposed to house them separately for that reason. That is one of the biggest reasons you house them separately, so they don't have to go through that. So when you look at these shows where the guys are in poly relationships, that is naturally going to become, how some people say women are like children. That is the arena where you make them children, because you're choosing to give one a benefit over the other. Like, how are you going to feel if you're the wife in the biggest, if you're a wife in the main suite versus the wife in the basement and it's cold down there? So yeah, that definitely can become very divisive real quick.
Now, are
Well,
you
to answer
paying
Curve's
for
question.
things? Are you taking care of both households, if that's the setup as well?
Yeah, you got to have the
Typically.
means to do so. If you're going to do
Okay.
that, yeah, you have to have the means to do so.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
So there are
There's
some
always going to be
countries.
jealousy. There's always going to be jealousy. Sorry, Saida. There's always going to be jealousy, but like what Trigger was saying, the women in that situation, in our religion, you cannot have more than one wife if you cannot provide for them equally. You cannot do it. And it's always said in our religion as well, yes, you can have up to 4, but one is best for you if you only knew. Go ahead, Saida. Sorry.
I just wanted to say that there are some countries where cheating or adultery has been decriminalized in Paraguay, Chile, Argentina, Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, Brazil, and Haiti, and China. But it's still a ground for divorce. So it's not a crime, but it's a ground for divorce. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, something that happens. They mention, what is the most common reason of divorce in the US? What's the name of it?
Irreconcilable differences.
Reconcilable, yeah.
Yes. So a lot of people don't know this, but the reason why they choose that option is because it's cheaper. And then if someone is cheating, because there's multiple reasons. There's a bunch of reasons of why you can get divorced, but they choose that reason. Is commonly agreed between both parties. The reason why is because number one is cheaper. And then another reason is because if someone has cheated, it has to go through an entire investigation. It takes longer. They have to pay more money. So at the end of the day, it's like, you know what, we just put as irreconcilable reasons. And a lot of people just complain about the term, but they don't know why they use the term. But I wanted to say that cheating is a number one reason of divorce, but it's not known as, because it goes under this other term that people put it in because it's cheaper.